Welcome back to another episode of the Popcorn Podcast. This is another one of my solo episodes in which I will be reviewing The Strangers Chapter 3. If you follow me on Letterboxd, you saw that I gave this film a 0.5 out of 5. I truly think this is one of the worst horror movies I've seen in a very long time, and this goes alongside how I thought about the first one and the second one in this trilogy. It still feels like this useless cash grab with no characters, no depth, and the biggest issue right off the bat for me that I just want to get out there is that when you watch the very first original Strangers, it feels like it's something that could happen to any of us. When I go downstairs, if I wake up at night and I need a glass of water, I go down there and I think about that scene when you see I call him Potato Sack Man, the main guy, the main stranger, and he steps in from out of the shadows and just watches Liv Tyler. Doesn't do anything, just stands there and watches and then disappears back into the shadows. It is such a terrifying thought that someone could be doing that while you're just doing everyday tasks late at night. Someone could do it in the morning, just be in a different room. Just it makes that film so good that it feels so realistic. And this trilogy does everything to not be that. It wants to be this nuanced take where these characters still feel love even though they're these crazy serial killers that live in this insane town that doesn't find any need to stop these people from killing people. They're just like, oh, this is just something that happens. The sheriff knows about it, but we kind of just let it happen. There are so many dead people. This would be a national emergency if this actually happened in real life. This film is just terrible. This trilogy is terrible. It has no love for how iconic Brian Bertino's film is. It wants to be different, and I understand that when you redo a franchise or do a remake, you have to take chances and you have to do things that are different, so you're not just rehashing the same story. But you still rehash the same story in this one. It's still a home invasion thing. Couples going there, things happen. But the differences that you make are just ridiculous. Like the fact that they have a pet boar that they keep to kill people for them, it is so ridiculous, just the idea of it. And then I was like, oh, maybe that's what they feed the people to the boar. No, because they also use a sawmill, and it just, the whole concept is so ridiculous and so useless that I just don't know what they were thinking when they went to make this trilogy, what the point of it was. You can't tell me it wasn't a cash grab when there's nothing behind this franchise. There's nothing behind this trilogy. And I think Rennie Harlan was just a terrible choice to direct it. I will give credit where credit's due. Madelaine Petsch as Maya is the only upside to this entire trilogy. She is trying everything in her power to make this watchable, but even her couldn't make this good. It is currently sitting at a 4.1 out of 10 on IMDb, a 16% on Rotten Tomatoes, and a 1.8 out of 5 on Letterboxd. So that shows you just how terrible it is. I'm trying to think of where I want to go from here. If you saw our review, our best and worst of the year, then you saw what I thought about The Stranger Chapter 2. I don't want to rehash it too much, but it truly is a terrible film that is god-awful from beginning to end. And I really went into this one thinking, okay, it's probably going to be shit, just like the last two were. But I was wrong. I thought it could only be better than the last one. It somehow takes a step even more into the shit than this one did. More than the second one did. They decide, instead of making these ambiguous serial killers that you don't know anything about, that they're just crazy and they decide to commit these violent acts, they make them into characters that take off their mask, they show you who they are, they make conversation. Instead of just killing Maya, they decide to capture her and be like, oh, no, you're going to become one of us now. Because, if you're a serial killer and you're attacked by a serial killer, you want to join them, not get away from them. And the first time you see the bagman, the main stranger, the only male one, it's not him trying to kill her because she killed the love of his life. It's them sitting in a church unmasked, having a conversation about how, oh, we're even now, so you can just leave. I've spent 2 movies trying to kill you, but you can just leave this town now. It doesn't matter. Just go home. No, it doesn't go that way. It goes a completely different direction. Wait, I hope I said that right. He tells her to leave town, which would be the smart thing for Maya to do. But she's like, no, I'm going to stay here and try and fix this. And she gets herself back into the shit, and that leads to her being captured, and then, as I said, trying to convert her into one of their allies. I think Pinup Girl is the one they try and make her into. But when I watched this when I watched it, I sat in this theater and I brought my friend with me, Connor, who really does have to suffer through these horror movies with me. And I know it's a bad movie when Connor is one of those people that loves, like, he just enjoys going to the movies. He thinks if he enjoys himself at all, it's a good time. It's a good movie. He walked out and said that I wasted his life by making him sit through this movie. And I couldn't argue with him. I had just had to apologize. I apologized before the movie started and I apologized after it ended. It is a soulless story that has nothing going for it. You go into this movie already knowing that it's going to be shit because the first two in this trilogy are shit. And it doesn't get any better. And I saw in an interview by Madelaine Petsch that she was like, yeah, you're right. They don't stand alone because it's one story. And we're going to be putting out the full edition of it, I think later this year, she said, which is going to be a 3-hour and 30-minute cut of all the chapters of The Strangers put into one singular chapter, into one singular film. No one cares to see this shit because it is bad from opening scene to end. And I was one of the people that after the first one, I was like, yeah, it's not good. But it's watchable. Like, I can get through it. It gets worse and worse. I will say the upside to the first one is that Froy Gutierrez, and Madelaine Petsch have very, very good chemistry. And they really are just rehashing the first original film, kind of doing a couple different things in this shot-for-shot, pretty much remake. But they do it worse, so it's, of course, not good. Then the second one, it gets worse, because in the first, I think it's 4 minutes, they show you one of the strangers' faces and tell you, take away already who, like, the twist is of who one of them are. Again, terrible. Thought it couldn't get worse. They had the boar scene, has terrible visual effects, the CGI blood looks bad. But no, let's get to the third one. Let's unmask Gregory, who is the main potato sack guy. And then let's add a twist in there. The sheriff is his dad, and he's known that he's been killing people all these years because the first person was a person from the neighborhood. But then they had to change that, so they're like, no. You can kill, just don't kill the people from here. You can kill random people. So it turns out that they twisted that the strangers are the people being hunted, not the hunters. Again, dumb as shit. And this kind of continues with every storyline that they add in there. They add in this, that the sister shows up with her husband and a private investigator. First off, the husband might be one of the worst actors I've seen in a very long time. I can't fully put on him because the script was already terrible. But just his idea, like his plan, they give him a gun. He's like, defend yourself. He decides to shoot windows that they bash out. Like, doesn't aim for the person, just shoots where he thinks the open glass is. No one's climbing through these tiny windows. Wait until the dude opens the door and then use the gun. Which he doesn't, so he gets his head bashed in. And now going to some of the editing mistakes, going back to another axe attack in this movie, you see him bash this person in with an axe. I mean, repeatedly. Takes the axe back into his hands, doesn't wipe it off, doesn't anything. I made sure I was like watching it intently for this review. There's no blood on the axe, not a drop. It is crystal clean, shiny. Don't know how you even make that mistake. Like, that should have been the thing. He brings it back on, there should have been blood on there, gives a little bit of eeriness to it since you only relied on the audio instead of the visual of the body being all destroyed. They also then kill a person later in the movie who it shows he is hitting him in the face, this man that he kills. They cut to the dude's face. There's like a little bit of blood on him. His face would have been a pile of mush. I just don't understand if you're doing an R rating. I guess if it was PG-13 that they can't do it. But this is R rated and they were like, oh, it's bloody, it's gory, it's dark, it's all these things. It never feels dark. It never feels uncomfortable to be there and witness these things because it feels so ridiculous, the idea of it. And then Madelaine Petsch Maya's character is able to take down the other girl in the group, just simply by standing next to her. Looks like she has a big machete and just takes out her hand, and stabs her. Like, it's just so stupid. It's just stupid. The ideas that they had just do not work. It doesn't make any sense. It has no logic behind it. And the first one's good because it, like the original, is so good because I made sure to rewatch it before I did this. It lives in logic. It lives in the idea that these are the things that would happen. This one does not. It's just... And then Maya's family dies, and she has no reaction to the fact that her sister, who she cares so much about, Not a word, not a scream, nothing. She just sits there in silence, and her sister dies. And then she finally has a chance. Her sister's gone. They don't even try and kill her anymore. And she decides, you know what? I'm going to go try and kill them myself. Goes in with a shotgun into their lair that's like the Bat Cave, first off. They show it. It's laid like an underground thing. Concrete hallways. No one ever checked these places. No one tried to find this place. And it's all the sawmill they hide bodies, where the boar is, and this have to be in a, I don't know, 10-minute walk of each other. All of it. It's all right there. And it's not like they're hiding this place. It's like a metal shelter, like a metal door latch to get into the shelter. And it's just in the middle of the grass. So it's so out there. If you see, you'd be like, what the hell is this? And go inside. And all she has to do to win, she walks down there and the cop's sitting there. And instead of trying to shoot her, the cop like gives her this stupid smile like, yeah, we won. And she just shoots him twice. Uses up all of her ammo. And she still has to deal with Gregory, the main one, the strongest of these killers. And do you want to know how she beats him in the end? She tricks him into thinking that she loves him, and he hugs her and all this stuff. And then she stabs him. That's it. And she then eventually hits him with an axe. But he's dead from the stabbing. He gets tricked into it that somehow she is now fallen in love with him, when she has not shown you a single bit of love in this movie. And they try and add that maybe it is going to happen, like, oh, maybe she does love him. If that had been the thing, that would have been even dumber. So there's nothing redeeming about this movie. Actually, I'm sorry. There is one redeeming factor. The end credits, because you know that this trilogy is over and you don't have to watch anymore. And I hope that me getting mad and reviewing this movie, that's an hour and a half, that it feels like 6 hours. There is a point I checked my phone. I'm not one of the people that likes to use their phone during a movie. I checked and I was like, it has to have been an hour. We have to be like getting there. It had been 32 minutes. That is all that had passed. And the movie could have ended 3 times in those 30-some minutes. But the last thing I want to add in here is I want people to apologize to Brian Bertino, someone who took time and effort and years to do The Stranger's story. And then he tried so hard to make the second one because he knew people really wanted to see it. And he said it just never came to fruition through his script that he wanted. But then he said that there was a script that he had seen that he liked enough, and he thought people would enjoy it. And he did The Strangers Pray at Night, which is not a great movie by any means, but it is Casablanca compared to these 3 movies. It at least has enjoyment. It feels like it's part of that world. And I just hate that his name is attached to this trilogy because he created the characters. So he is now always going to be associated to these ones as well, because it says in the critics, created by Brian Bertino, even though he had nothing to do with this trilogy. And I hate that that is now where this goes, because this just feels so heartless. There was no... You can tell when someone wanted to make someone like this is what they worked years for. Like, there's a passion behind it. There just wasn't any behind this, except for Madelaine Petsch, who really is trying to make Maya's character like an enjoyable, deep character. But she has nothing. I mean it with every ounce of myself. There is nothing behind her character. And that goes with this entire story, the ridiculousness of it, the hokiness of some of the scenes. From beginning to end, this is truly one of the worst movies I've ever seen, one of the worst horror movies that has been made, and it is a bunch of fucking shit stacked on top of each other for over 4 hours, over 3 movies. If you enjoyed this movie, please reach out to me. I would love to know why you love this movie. I would love to know why you watched the first one, the second one, and the third one, if you enjoyed all 3 of them. Please tell me. I am not one of those people, and there's no way they will get me to be one of those people. That is all I have to say on my rant about The Strangers Chapter 3. If you want to see the movie, then go support theaters and go see it in theaters. But if you're not going to watch it, you're not missing out on anything. This is not for hardcore fans of The Strangers, because it's shit and it doesn't do anything but shit on the first 2 movies in this, the first 2 films, The Strangers 2008 and then 2018's The Strangers Pray at Night. It does nothing but shit on that and do nothing but make these characters seem ridiculous and just like any normal slasher characters, which is not the point of that original film. And those are my thoughts. If you want to hear more of us, please go check out the rest of our channel. We have a lot of great videos up there. We're reviewing TV, film, we do gaming content. But of course, make sure to follow us on all of our social medias, and please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for tuning in to my TED Talk, and we will see you guys in the next episode.